me? Well, we had a great interview with our member Phil. I hope you enjoyed the interview. I think it was very entertaining and informative. Phil's a great member, and he was gracious enough to give us his time and his opinions about things here that he's experienced. So I want to thank him for that. And well, we have another day in Saigon, or Ho Chi Minh City. I wanted to get you up to speed, brief you on a few things, because up to now, basically our videos have been, you know, what I've been experiencing, but I wanted to share with you some things, some distinctions that I made, and information I gleaned from being here so far, and it's only been a few days. But one is the coffee's delicious. I love Vietnamese coffee. I used to get this back in the States at Vietnamese restaurants, and so I found it once or twice in Thailand, but not too often. Now, if you're not familiar with Vietnamese coffee, they actually put the coffee grinds in this little cup, add hot water, put a little sweetened condensed milk in the bottom, and let it slow drip into there. And then they give you some extra hot water as well. So, very cool. Delicious coffee. So what I wanted to mention to you all was, first of all, we're eating breakfast. I wanted to mention to you about tipping. Phil had mentioned that they don't tip here. One ways, that's in the restaurants and stuff, but I wanted to mention to you, everywhere you're going to go to park in Saigon, there's limited parking. There's not enough parking for motorbikes or any cars or anything, so you have to park in front of businesses. Now, I've watched people park, and they're always told, put the helmets under the seat so they don't get ripped off. So theft must be an issue. The other thing is, if you're frequenting or using the service of the place you're parking in front of, the parking will be free. But there'll be a guard watching your bike. And when you come to get your bike, it's traditional to tip him a little bit of money. Nobody's really told me what to tip yet. But do a conversion and then see what feels comfortable. If I figure that out or somebody tells me about what's apropos to give to the guy, I'll pass it on to you. Another thing that is, I want to mention as well, my sentiments about being in Saigon. Reiterate some of these things is if you sit in a restaurant or something, try not to sit near the streets, because if you're near the streets, you'll be subject to getting the hawkers approaching you, selling something. Now, especially in this area of District 1, it's a backpacker area, and I'm going to do a video at night to show you as I walk down the street here. It reminds me a lot of Pattaya in Thailand, which is a no-fly zone for me for a number of reasons. Whether Saigon is a no-fly zone, we'll see, because I want to get out to different districts other than District 1. But District 1 is sort of a no-fly zone for retirees, for rippers. And if you don't know what a ripper is, it's a retiree in paradise. And the reason is because of cost, safety, ease of getting around, ease of everything. And it isn't easy. You got to be well seasoned and brave to cross the roads. Theft seems to be an issue because they're telling everybody to pack, put stuff away so it doesn't get stolen. But the hawkers are pervasive in this area, and if you're near the street, they're going to come up to you constantly, even walking down the street. And you'll see when I do the nighttime video walking down the street, just how prevalent it is to get approached. Now, if you're lonely and you get no attention where you live, this would be a great area because you can get a lot of attention. I wanted to mention that. Also, when we got off the plane, I got a SIM card for our phone. The SIM card gave me telephone calling ability and internet, 3G. They don't have 4G here yet that I know of. And they said they were going to put in 4G, but I think what they did is switch to improving the 3G network, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But I got the SIM card. It was 200,000 dong at the airport, and gave us 30 days of internet and calling. And if we run out of time or data, we can just go to, I think it's a Circle K. They have more Circle Ks here than 7-Elevens. And get a top up, and I can top up that on the phone. So 200,000. You can convert that into your own currencies. A laundry in this area, I found laundry can be done by the kilo, which is great because in Thailand, in Chiang Mai, you can get it done by the kilo, but in many other places, it's done by the piece, and it gets a little bit more expensive. Here, you can get it for 25,000 dong for a kilo of laundry, which is pretty reasonable. It's not bad at all. We talked to Phil about transportation. I'm not sure the cost yet. I'm going to try and get costs for you all. But there is public transportation to be the way to get around. If you're thinking about driving here, think twice. First of all, I've been told that even though our Thai driver's licenses should be honored in Vietnam, that the police won't accept them, even an international driver's license. You have to have a Vietnamese driver's license. And another thing is that I'm not a fan of at all about here is all hotels you're going to have to surrender your passport to, which I do not like giving up my passport, but it's a necessity here. You have to, or you're not going to get a hotel room. Now, after the first night or during the daytime, you can keep your passport and give them a copy, but at nighttime I think they have to report to the police or whatever who's staying, and they got to have the passport, so I'm told. Wow, thank you. I told my one of the eggs the way I looked in the picture, and they came out fried, a little bit more done than I wanted, but anyway. See, it's interesting when I come to a new country and I don't know the language. Because I know how to order the eggs in Thai language, so it's a new learning curve for me, just like it would be for you all. But yeah, giving up the passports, I'm not a fan of that. I don't think it's a good practice, but you have to do it if you're going to stay in a place. Now, the thing about it is, if you're going to rent a motorbike, which you can rent in this area of District 1 for about $5 a day, they're going to want your passport or about a $200 deposit or $400 deposit in lieu of your passport. So I asked the motorbike place, I said, what are you going to do? You're going to go to the hotel and you're going to argue with them who gets to keep my passport. But I don't think I'm going to rent a motorbike here. I'll use public transportation. But I wanted to give you that information of the costs and then having to give up your passport. The Wi-Fi has been good. I did a Wi-Fi speed test in the hotel that I'm staying at, and it was 10 megabytes download and 7 megabytes upload. So the Wi-Fi speeds were really good, not a problem. I've been able to do my work here. I wanted to mention to you, here's another breakfast. I wanted to give you some prices of some of this. So the eggs, and this was supposed to come with toast as well, a baguette. And this would have been 30,000 dong. The avocado and cheese sandwich was 45,000 dong. And the coffee, this is the hot milk coffee is what they call that. The hot milk coffee is 20,000 dong. So there you go. The water is, I think, 10,000 if I'm not mistaken. 7,000 to 10,000. I think this is 7,000 if I'm not mistaken. But there you go. So we're off for another day. I'm going to try and get to a different district to see what the difference is and how much it will cost to get there and how far away it is. But anyway, we're going to enjoy some breakfast and we'll be back later. See you. I want to talk to you all about something. I went into detail in this, unfortunately, in my members' site, which was pretty humorous. But I need to talk to basically everybody from every other country except America can tune out now. But for Americans, this is going to be a foreign concept. And this is the thing about, and people are like, oh, they're so unhygienic in Asia and Southeast Asia and stuff like that. It's not the case at all. One of the things I want to mention to Americans is when you come to a toilet, you're going to see almost every public toilet says, do not throw tissue in the toilet. But for foreigners coming from America, that's what we do. We wipe our butt with paper, smear the crap all around, throw it in the toilet, and that's how we do our thing. But the rest of the world doesn't do it that way. So let me explain to you Americans how this is going to work. And once you do this, you're going to go back home and you're going to be going to Home Depot and the stores and outfitting your bathrooms. Trust me. What happens here is when you do your thing, sit down on the toilet, do your thing, and you're finished, you but the water spray to wash your butt off. And this has got a pretty good pressure to it. Sometimes you'll hear it called as a bum gun, but it's got pretty good pressure. Now, they actually sell these at different pressure than the ones that we use for sinks in the kitchen, which usually have high pressure. This actually has a lot of high pressure. Usually the ones you buy for bathroom are low pressure, so that they don't cause any damage. So anyway, but you actually wash with water when you're finished, okay? So you spray yourself off, wash with water, and then the tissue is here to dry yourself with. That's all this is for. And after you dry yourself, there's always a waste container in the bathroom to throw the moist, wet tissue away. But it doesn't smell or anything, but it's because all it did was absorb water. And so you're much more hygienic, you're much more clean than if you do it the American way. But you don't throw this in toilets. You don't throw anything in the toilet. It's got to come out of your body to go into a toilet and flush here. The systems aren't set up the same way, and you don't want to clog up somebody's system. So that's what you do is you use the water, clean yourself, dry yourself off with a tissue, throw the tissue in the wastebasket. Once you start doing this, you're going to say, why don't we do it this way? This is amazing. This is great. And you'll be adding a T-junction to your water pipe and adding your own little sprayer once you get home, trust me. So anyway, but I wanted to explain to you Americans how this works because you're going to encounter it. Now, having said that, a lot of places won't have this. These are modern conveniences, these sprayers and sit-down toilets. More places are having sit-down toilets around Southeast Asia, but even if you have a squat toilet, any kind of toilet, if they don't have the plumbing hooked up, what they're going to have is they're going to have a nozzle with water, and they're going to have a bucket, some kind of container to hold a large amount of water. And then you're going to have a bowl or a big cup with a handle or whatever, and you'll scoop water and you'll do the same thing. And that's a little bit more harder to control. Make sure you take your shoes off and stuff before you do that, because you could end up with wet shoes if you do it that way, if you're not experienced enough. So be careful with the water. You're just going to splash it up, clean yourself off, and then dry yourself off. So there's more of an art to it when you got to use it from a water source like a bucket or something like that with a scoop. This makes it much more easier and convenient. And more places have got these. You'll even see them in shopping malls and stuff now instead of a scoop. They're changing, it's modernizing. But anyway, I wanted to mention that to our American viewers on YouTube, how this all works, all right? So I hope it's helpful. Let's take a little walk, and I'm going to show you if you're not getting enough attention and you're lonely, come to Mui Vai Road in Saigon. I call this Backpacker Central. But I want to show you, this is like going down Walking Street in Pattaya almost. It's just crazy, crazy. And you're going to get approached by hawkers. Every restaurant you're going to go by, they're going to want you to eat. It's sort of obnoxious to me. I don't appreciate this thing. It's sort of like the horn honking. It's something that gets on my nerves. But let me show you, I'll give you an example of what to expect when you go down Mui Vai Road. And then we're going to have Nat follow from behind so that they don't see the camera, so you'll get the full effect of what to expect. They caught him before me, so I got the break. No, thank you. Now you got restaurants on both sides of the road, but if you stop and look at the menu, they're going to try and get you to come in. So this is something that's really weird to me. No, thank you. There's a lot of places I'd like to stop and check out the menu or something. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. So I just sort of ignore the people, but I don't like to do that. I feel it's sort of rude. And if you sit anywhere near the road, the people walking by with the vendors are going to want to stop and try and sell you something as well. So you'll get harassed the whole time you're sitting there. But you can see there's a lot of action here, and you can actually just sit at the street and have a beer and watch the action go by. No, thank you. And you're constantly walking in the road, so you have to be really careful these motorbikes going by. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'll give you another example. I'll stop and look at a menu, and you can see how they'll try and get you to eat. You can't stop and look at the menu without getting harassed. Hello, hello. Thank you. people would love this, you know? Just for me, it's a little over the top. I'll give you an example. I'm going to walk across the street and look at the menu. Gotta be really careful crossing the street. Same in Thailand. You need to be walk with determination. Don't suddenly slow down or speed up, and they'll go around you. No, thank you. Yep, guy. Oh, good. Okay, I'm going to walk up. I'll come right back, okay? Thank you. Well, they were pretty mellow about that. They didn't harass me. That was good. So anyway, you get a feel for what's on the road here. All sorts of restaurants, bars, massage. Here, we'll check out the restaurants over here. Hello.
Vietnamese food. Vietnamese food.
Vietnamese food, oh, very good.
Vegetarian.
Is it good food?
Yeah.
Good, huh? Very good, huh? Hello. Looks good. This looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
What sort of food you looking for? Seafood?
Good food.
Good food where
You have good
they
food,
consider
right?
the best Vietnamese food in this street.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. See, and I feel really bad if I stop looking at the menu and then they start talking to me to walk away and not eat. They get sort of upset with you. I don't, not, yeah, you want to marry me, huh? So you can see you have your choice of whatever kind of food you want. And here across the street we've got a combination of pizza, pasta, Vietnamese, Mexican, you name it, you got it. So there you go. Hope this has been helpful to give you an idea what to expect when you're walking down the road here. You'll get plenty of attention and plenty of choices. So there you go. Hope it's been helpful. Time to eat. Go back to one of these restaurants and get something to eat. See ya. One thing keep in mind if you need to do something with banks or government offices or something like that, that in Saigon, and I'm not sure if this is prevalent throughout the country, but in Saigon they seem to take a break. They close for lunchtime. And so I need to go in and get exchange at a bank, and you can see they roll down the shutters, the guard goes to sleep. The guard's asleep inside. So I've noticed this happened a couple times now. That at lunchtime, I've even seen other businesses do this, where they just roll down the shutters, and for an hour and a half, they go take a lunch break. So we're waiting for the banks to reopen after lunch, and then I'll be able to do what I need to do. But I just thought I'd mention this because this is really important too. If you're expecting or you needed to jump on a bus to go someplace or pay for a hotel room and you needed cash from a bank or something, don't try and do it during lunch hours. All right? Hope that's helpful. Okay, one of the things I've noticed if you're in Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, the variety of foods is amazing. One of the things that's hard to find sometimes around Thailand, except in a place like Chiang Mai, is vegetarian food. But I found almost every menu here has vegetarian entrees in it. And I found this place here a pretty interesting concept, and I wanted to share this with you. This is for vegetarians, and what you do is you come in and see it says, first you select your vegetables, select your noodles, select your vegan food, your mock meats, and then you pay at the cashier, and they say you receive a page or I guess a number or something, and then they'll cook it and you pick it up at the counter when it's finished. So we're going to go through this. Now they have some vegetables here, and you got your little shopping basket and your graspers here. And so we've got lettuce greens. I'm not sure what these are called. What are these? What's the name of this? What is this? This is broccoli. Broccoli? This? What is this name? What is this?
This is salad flour.
What flour?
Salad flour. Salad.
Chive?
Salad flour.
Maybe chives?
Bông hẹ.
What is it?
Việt Nam we call bông hẹ. Bông hẹ.
Bông hẹ.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're going to try some of these. And I just put them in the basket? And some lettuce. We got some lettuce. And then we got the cooler here too. I can take some of these?
Yes.
Okay, we've got some cabbage, corn, broccoli. Get one of these. Some cabbage.
I have a mini salad.
What are these? Some kind of sprouts. What are they? What's the name?
Mini salad.
Mini
salad. Việt Nam we call salad song.
I don't know. Are they good?
Yes, good.
They're good, huh? And you have squash.
This is pumpkin.
Pumpkin.
Yes, pumpkin.
Ah, there's some squash. I think I'm going to have some tomato. Cherry tomatoes. Yes, I want some mushrooms too. I think I'll have these mushrooms. Okay. And, I'm going to take the mock shrimp.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, looks like little shrimps. I think I'll have 2 of these, the shrimp. And then the noodle. Now this is fresh noodles here, right?
Yes.
Same price?
No. This is the price. This is rice. And then the price. Oh, I need noodle. This is green tea noodle.
Okay. I think we'll get these.
You can try.
All right, yeah, I'll try those. Okay.
And I sell salad roasted chicken.
Yeah, I see you have spring rolls too. I think I'm going to try this first just to see.
With some people.
Okay. We have yogurt too. Is this yogurt or ice cream? Yogurt.
This is
Ice cream.
Yes, made by soya milk.
Wow. Vanilla.
Yeah.
Vanilla.
Yeah.
What?
It has strawberry and passion fruit. Ice cream.
Passion fruit.
Yes.
And what else?
Water strawberries.
Strawberry?
Yes, and you can mix across.
Strawberry and passion fruit.
Yes.
Wow.
And this you can mix across.
Yeah. Mixed up. Okay.
So there is
Mango juice, mango drink with real pulp. Okay, we'll see how much the. Now this is a soup, right?
Yes.
Soup.
Yes.
Okay. And it comes in this bowl?
Yes, the flour and
like this?
soup.
Okay, well, great. Very interesting.
92,000.
92,000. Okay. So 92,000.
Do you have 2,000?
No.
Yeah. And when they have ring, you come back here and pick up your food.
Okay. Thank you. So 92,000.
You want to ring?
I think I'm gonna have some mango juice.
I have cappuccino and some ices and some.
No, I think I'll have the mango. This one, yeah.
Do you want ice or hot? Hot or ice?
Ice? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'll have the cold one. Yeah. So if you wonder, 92,000 equates to right now with the exchange rate the way it is today.
Only one.
Yes, just one. $4.13 or 144 baht. So it's not exactly cheap, but it's all organic or hydroponic. Is this organic?
19,000 for one.
19,000. Is this organic?
Yeah.
Organic vegetable
Yes.
is organic?
Yes,
Organic, okay. And this is 14,000?
Yes, 19,000.
19,000, oh sorry. Which is 29 baht or 85 cents for the mango juice. Okay.
And this is for Chen.
Okay, great. Okay, that'll work. Give me back my 1,000. All right, well there you go. And I want to show you something, so hold on. We'll take our pager and our drink. Thank you. Okay, let's get our pager, our drink, my exchanger. Okay, and we'll go to the table and then they're going to ring us when this is ready. And everywhere you go, there's Wi-Fi. So if you're thinking about, oh, I'm not going to have connections, everybody has free Wi-Fi wherever you go. But I want to show you something. Check this out. This is really difficult in Thailand to find this much of a selection of vegetarian foods. First of all, you got all the cans and everything up here, and the dried mock meats and stuff like that. But look in the cooler section. Vegetarian prawn, that's what I got. Lamb meat, vegetarian turkey, vegetarian crab meat, grilled ribs. I'm not sure what that is. Crab nippers. Oh, the crab claws. Vegetarian crab claws. Soybean curd. Vegetarian. What's this one? Chicken steak. Chicken steak. Vegetarian spare ribs. Vegetarian duck chest. Bacon. Vegetarian bacon. Check this out. Burgers. Hot dogs. Fish balls. Beef steak. This is amazing. I've never seen a selection like this ever. I don't think anywhere. Pork meat. Spare ribs. What else do we have here? Spare ribs. Over here we got seafood. Fish slices. I'm not sure what kind of fish that one shows. Tuna. Fish fingers. Yellowfish. Vegetarian panda meat. What else do we have? Finger fish. Tuna steak. Tuna steak. Salmon. So as you can see, this is just amazing, the selection. If you're a vegetarian, you'd be covered here. I mean, you'd be able to eat very well. In fact, I just did a thing for our members in our member site about doing a ketogenic diet. where you eat basically protein and good fats, and I just dropped the weight once I stopped eating carbohydrates. And they actually said that diet is much healthier. Your longevity surpasses everybody else's if you do that kind of diet and cut back all the carbohydrates, but you use your protein sources and vegetarian protein sources. That really makes a huge difference in the effects, long-term effects of that kind of a diet. So something to think about. But anyway, we've got everything: vegetarian omelet, vegetarian tiger prawn, roasted duck. This is amazing. Anything you can imagine. Huh? So there you go, all the seaweeds. So anyway, we're going to wait for our soup, and there you go. If you're into a vegetarian lifestyle and diet in Saigon, there's thousands of options. See ya. So I've got this, and I want to tell you, this is really good. They give you a bowl of like broth, and I asked, do you drink the broth or you pour it over? They said it's up to you. So I poured it over and made it sort of a soup. But what really kicked this off was they have a little condiment tray over there, and they have this pepper sauce. This is really good. Adds some really great flavor to it. So this is a good option, a good alternative if you're in town, you want to eat something healthy in Saigon in District 1. This place is called Healthy Farm. So look it up and check it out. But there's something about eating, it's undeniable if you're in tune with your body and your stuff. If you eat fresh vegetables and you eat healthy food, it's just as soon as you eat it, you feel more alive because you're eating live food, right? Instead of dead food, processed food. So anyway, just wanted to turn you on to this. I think it's a great alternative, and it turns out that after trying it, it's tasty as well. So let's see. Gang, okay, I want to talk to you just for a little bit, because if you're thinking about living in Saigon City, you're going to think, this is a crazy big city like Bangkok. And you know something? You're right. Traffic is crazy. There's a lot of people. It's congested and everything. But one of the things I've noticed is if you actually look around, just like where I am right now, you're going to notice something. What are you going to notice? You're going to notice that there's a lot of green area around me. There's parks. I see these little parks, and they're 3 or 4 blocks long. Some extend even further, and they are all over the city. So all you got to do is look for one of these parks. And it's funny because there's so much noise and there's so much honking of the horns and everything that you're going to say, oh, there's just way too much noise. But it's funny because you can get like a half a block into one of these parks, and you're going to notice that all of a sudden it gets nice and quiet. See, listen, I even hear birds. So you're going to get a little bit of taste of nature and a little bit of quiet even when you're in the city. So if you're thinking about coming to live in some place like Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City, and you're going to say, well, I'm going to have all this congestion all the time. That's not exactly true. There are these places you can get away. In daytime, when it's warm, not many Vietnamese people come out to these places because it's still warm to them. And so you could come here. And like today, there's a great breeze, and if you go in the shade, it's actually really nice. So something to keep in mind if you think about living in the city here. If you've been following my channel on YouTube for any amount of time, you're probably going to know I shun or shy away from any kind of tourist areas. That's not the purpose or the focus of my channel on YouTube. It's to show retirees great places and options for living on a fixed income. But I'm going to make an exception today because I'm an American. I'm in Saigon, or Ho Chi Minh City, and they actually have the War Remnants Museum here, which is something I was interested in seeing and checking out. Now, this has gone through some transitions as far as the name is concerned, and there's a lot of propaganda, and it is slanted in one viewpoint. Having said all that, it started out as in 1975 as the Exhibition House of U.S. and Puppet Crimes. Then they changed the name in 1990 to the Exhibition House of War Crimes. Then once we took off the economic sanctions off of Vietnam in 1995, it became the War Remnants Museum. Now there's a lot of images that are unpleasant to look at in here. Of course, the nomenclature, the captions are all slanted towards U.S. being not so good. So depending on what your views are about the war and everything, it'll be a different experience for different people. But anyway, I'm going to check it out, peruse through, and maybe when I get through, I'm not sure if we can film a video inside, but when we come back out, maybe I'll give you my opinions of what I saw and everything and experience in there as well. So let's go check it out. Okay, so I came out of the museum. If you're in Saigon, you ought to have an opportunity to take the opportunity to see the museum. It'll remind you of the atrocities of war, for sure, and reminds you that you should be able to protect your own home, your own rights, and your own liberties on your own home turf. But beyond that, it's questionable. So anyway, check it out if you get a chance. It was something that I'm glad that I saw. It's a stark reminder that we ought to take care of our own, on our own turf. And as Forrest Gump said, that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, well, it's our last day in Saigon. And we were going to take a bus to Dalat. Dalat's the next place we're going to go. And the reason we're headed to Dalat was because it's cooler. I hear it's cool weather. It's up in the mountains. Now, we were going to take a bus, which was going to be about 6 hours of bus ride, which meant we would have to have left fairly early in the day. But we had things to do. I needed to go to the post office. I don't like lugging around stuff as you travel. We picked up a couple things, so I figured it would be a good idea to send them by post back to Thailand. Now we'll see if they ever show up there. They're going by surface, which would take about probably 3 or 4 weeks to get to Thailand if they show up. They're not anything of value. There's some motorcycle or motorbike accessories that I wanted that I saw here that they don't have in Thailand. So I thought, oh, this is really cool. We'll see if they show up. It was a little more difficult at the post office than in Thailand. If you're in some place that's tourist-oriented, either Chiang Mai, Pattaya, Phuket, any of those cities, post offices are used to dealing with foreigners. They have a special place to box things. They give you boxes. They sell you boxes, and they'll actually put the stuff in the box and box it up. They sort of did that here, but they never sealed up the box or anything before I left, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. It wasn't that expensive to send by the weight. I don't know how much it was by weight to give you a comparable price, so not sure about that. But a couple things I wanted to mention. We're going to cooler weather because it's been the last 3 days been really hot. It must be a heat wave coming through, which up to that point it wasn't so hot. So that was so we're headed to cooler weather just further north, and we're going to do a trip that's going to go along basically into the mountains and then along the coast up until we get to Hanoi up in the north. So but I wanted to mention that, and a couple of differences based on my first impressions of a city in Vietnam, which is a big city, which is Saigon. The people are not aware of a couple of things that we're sort of aware of in Thailand. People in the city, in the cities here, they just throw stuff out on the ground. You can go to restaurants and they take their napkins and they just throw them under the table while they're eating, which used to happen in Cambodia as well when I first went there. Last time I was there in the capital Phnom Penh, they weren't doing that anymore. Maybe somebody told them not to do it or whatever. But here they throw everything on the street or on the sidewalks, and then there's crews that come by and clean it up. So people don't necessarily themselves throw stuff in trash cans. Now in parks there's a lot of trash cans, and along the city streets now you'll see some trash cans as well, so maybe they're trying to work on that. But I found that they just threw the trash down on the ground. Yes, thank you. And so I wanted to mention that as well. Also, in Thailand, people are always trying to get away with not wearing helmets. That's not the case here. Everybody, it's very rare to see somebody that doesn't have a helmet on. So that's something to be aware of if you're going to be here. And maybe because they drive so crazy here. I mean, they drive up and down sidewalks like it was nothing. And pedestrians don't have any right of way, really. You got to brave your life. You think it's hard crossing the road in Thailand? Here it's 4 times as bad. So keep that in mind. Always have a helmet on as well. But almost everybody has helmets. It's very rare to see somebody that doesn't have a helmet. It's not like people are trying to push the law like they do in Thailand, try and get away with not having a helmet. So I wanted to mention that to you as well. The smoking. You're going to be they don't have, Thailand, Western countries have smoking laws inside businesses, restaurants, and inside buildings. Here they don't seem to have that. People seem to be smoking anywhere. So keep that in mind as well. That if smoking's an issue, you want to be somewhere where there's air circulating around you. We've actually sat down in restaurants and stuff, and there were people smoking next to us, and we moved to another area because I'm not a non-smoker, and so it's Nat. So keep that in mind as well. There's an issue with money. I mentioned when we first got here, people have always told me they've gotten ripped off. I can see how that would happen easily. The denominations of bills are in thousands, hundreds of thousands, a million. So it's not difficult to get a bill 3 nights in a hotel for over $1 million dong. And so you got a lot of zeros to contend with. A lot of times they just drop the 1,000 part of it and they'll just say 150. Well, they're assuming you know it's 150,000 or 300,000. So keep that in mind. It's and the bills, a lot of them look very similar. I'll show you a picture why I'm doing this, saying this. Some of them are very close colors. Now the size changes a little bit, but you know, when people are in a hurry, and it seems like all business owners or vendors are in a hurry, you got to come up with those bills quickly. So try and keep them organized by denominations and size, and that way it'll be easier when you have to pay for something. You won't get ripped off. I keep a converter with me all the time because I want to know how much it is in Thai baht compared to Thai baht and also in US dollars. So I have a converter on my Android phone for that. We stopped in a restaurant. Oh, anybody I see that's here, I'm conditioned to speak Thai. Anytime I'm trying to communicate something, I'm always going to Thai, and then Matt just looks at me and she shakes her head like they're not going to understand what you say. And they do the same with her. They speak Vietnamese to her, thinking that she understands Vietnamese. So this has been a little bit difficult. Now, if you first came over to Southeast Asia, come into a place like this, it would be easier maybe to learn the language because you'd start recognizing the words for different things in Vietnamese. Were in Thailand, it's symbols basically. They do have a Thai script, but they appear as symbols to us as opposed to words. So here it'd be easier to come and remember the words for different types of businesses in the Vietnamese language. So there you go. The one thing, the horn honking is just amazing. And I'm not sure if you would get used to it or not. It is prevalent, and to me it's not a good thing, because you look at an intersection, just a fairly small intersection in Thailand, and we'll stand there and you won't hear any horn honking. I have a video example of this that I did before I left. What don't you hear? You don't hear the horn honking. And so you compare that to a small intersection here where they're constantly honking their horn and trying to, whoever honks first seems out of the right of way. And it's also to show that they're so close to each other, they're honking just to let somebody know they're right there. So there's a lot of horn honking. Anyway, we're out of here shortly. Instead of taking the bus for 6 hours, we're going to fly. It was only like $50 to fly 6 hours of bus travel. It takes like an hour by plane. It's only like $50. So we're going to fly to get to our next place that we're going to show you, Dalat. Now we were walking along and we saw a restaurant. I'm trying to find familiar food. We have had a lot of Vietnamese food that's very good. Spring rolls, fried or fresh, are great. Pho, which is the noodle soup, great. This is called bun zao or something. This is fried noodles, which is very good. This is about $1.50 US for this. And she's got rice and chicken, which is I don't know what it's called really, but this is a Singaporean restaurant actually. So there's a big extensive menu, and but that's rice with chicken over it. That's another about $1.50, a little less than $1.50 US for that meal as well. So you can eat cheaply here. It's not an issue. It's finding things that you recognize. Now there's no pictures on the menu, but like I said, it's an extensive menu, and it's a Singaporean restaurant. But I see they have things that are similar to Thai meals. They have Vietnamese food. They have Singaporean dishes as well, but it's not expensive, and you can get tea to drink, very refreshing tea. So there you go. Next time I talk to you, probably be on the way to the airport or at the airport, getting ready to fly to Dalat. So we're going to enjoy our meal. Talk to you later.